Hello, everyone on the Educator's Edge. I'm here again with my friend down the road from me, Curt Swarm, here in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. And I wanted to bring Curt on today because, well, I've been helping him promote his book and just want to read. This is the beautiful cover. And when I say beautiful, I'm saying because of the beautiful intention of this book to enlighten people as to what went on during this war and how the Iowa National Guard made a discovery that really it completely changed the ability for them to find the IEDs in Iraq. And so it's a great, great book. And I just want to read again one more time. I was so honored when he asked me to review this book. And the second I started reading it, I couldn't put it down until I had finished the book. So I was glad I had given myself some time that day to just read and just enjoy everything that I learned in the journey he took me on in that book. And I said, Task Force IED, historical fiction based on a true story. This story gripped me from the very first paragraph until the last. This story shares the courage and the resolve of the soldiers as they bravely face the daily challenges of Task Force IED. The reader is left with a sense of gratitude to those who serve in our military forces and the unbelievable circumstances they encounter and face every day. I found the storyline riveting and the characters compelling as they navigate the atrocities of war, a war with no way to gauge if you are winning. Does anyone really win a war? Perhaps I'm also left with the question, why do we choose to go to war? So I'm here with him today because he has a very, very special event coming up with his book. And I just asked him, I said, Curt, would you come on and just share what this means to you? Because I know from what he shared with me how special it is. And I just wanted him to share it with all of you. So welcome, Curt.
Thank you, Denise. Thanks to Denise. And by the way, Denise is my marketing director. Marketing is so important, as you all know. But she set up a number of book signings for me throughout Southeast Iowa. And I've been doing those. But then I got a real special invitation from my hometown. And my hometown is Monroe, Iowa. And if you don't know where Monroe is on Highway 163, and it's in the middle of a quadrangle of Pella, Knoxville, Prairie City, and Newton is where Monroe is. And I graduated from New Monroe Community High School in 1966. And lo and behold, I got an invitation from the Monroe Public Library to do a book signing there on Saturday, October 15th at 10 a.m. in the morning. And of course, the public is invited. So I will be doing a book signing there, and books will be available there. The address for the Monroe Public Library is 416 Buchanan Street in Monroe. And once again, that'll be 10 a.m. on October 15th. And I'll have books there. The softcover book is $15 and the hardcover book is $30. And I would be glad to sign that for you. And I'll read a little excerpt from the book, and I'll answer questions, and I'll talk a little bit about myself. A couple of things I like to talk about is number one, the public library in Monroe. When I was a little kid, that library was a single room on the back of the fire station off an alley facing the old water tower. and that was that was the public library. And my mother would send my sister and I up there on a hot summer's afternoon, mainly to get us out from underfoot. But we would go there. But now they have a really nice modern building, more apropos to the progressive community that Monroe is now. And the other story I like to tell is that I got my writing start as a senior in high school in Monroe. And how I got my writing start was I wrote a short story for the English class, and I got the story back with a big fat red F on it because the teacher claimed that I had plagiarized, that I had copied the story, that I did not have the talent to write that story. And well, we got that all straightened out, and she did change the grade. She changed it from a F to an A minus, the minus being for the misspellings. But that was my start because she really did me a favor by telling me that I didn't have the talent to write that. She was actually telling me that I did have the talent to write it because I did write it. And so I knew then that I wanted to be a writer. And I proceeded a couple years later to get a degree in English. And I've more or less written all my life in business, did a lot of writing in human resources and business. But I've also written 3 books. I have a newspaper column, a free newspaper column, weekly newspaper column that's in about 50 newspapers in 3 states called The Empty Nest. A lot of people know me through that. And I also teach creative writing in my home in the wintertime. And I've had a lot of success with that. I teach the creative writing class just like I was taught at Iowa State. And you don't really teach creative writing. What you do is you just give the person the opportunity to write and then get out of their way and let them write. And then the class critiques their writing, and that's how they learn. And I've had a lot of success with that class because a number of students out of that class that I teach in the wintertime have gone on to publish books and poetry that have been quite successful. So I'm very proud of that. The the really big thing that's happening following the book signing is that well, I graduated in 1966. Last year would have been our 55th year after graduation, and we did not have a class reunion because of COVID-19. So my class, being sharp as they are, they decided that, well, they would use this opportunity following the book signing to have a class reunion. So the class reunion is going to be at Carlin and Daryl Hortsoy's house. Carlin is a classmate of mine, and Daryl was 1 year older than me. And their address is 5394 Highway F70, just a mile west of Monroe or so. And Carlin and Daryl will provide the meat. It's going to be a potluck, and you do not have to be a graduate of the class of 66 in order to attend. It's open to anyone. It's open to the public. Anyone that attends the book signing is welcome to come to the potluck class reunion following the book sign. It should be a lot of fun.
Wow.
And then,
That's great,
another,
Curt. So excited
and
for
then
you.
another, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited too. And then another benefit of having it out there is that Carlin and Daryl's house is right beside where I grew up in a house called Maple Hill. That house is no longer there. It's been moved, but I have fond memories of my childhood roaming over the hills and the valleys of that area, hunting and fishing and just enjoying being outside in nature and catching tadpoles and so on. And so it will be a nostalgic adventure for me being there. And then my my book, Task Force IED, as I've explained before, it's about the Iowa National Guard, their deployment to Iraq, and their fight against IEDs, which are improvised explosive devices. And they did something, two soldiers from the Iowa National Guard, because of their civilian background, they did something that the entire military wasn't able to do. They wrote a computer program that predicted within 80% accuracy where all the IEDs were located in the entire country of Iraq. And this was something the entire military had been working on. And up until that point, the military thought that the placement of these IEDs were random. These two soldiers figured out that it was not random, that there was a pattern, a very predictable pattern. And because of their background, they were able to devise a program which did locate these within 80% accuracy where these IEDs were located. They saved many, many lives and countless injuries because of their computer software. Their battalion found and removed over 800 IEDs because of this program. Now that's the first part of the story. And the second part of the story, and I interviewed a whole bunch of National Guard veterans to get this story, both men and women, officers and enlisted, and their spouses, men and women, to get this story. And I blended all of their stories into one. The second part of this story is after all the success the Iowa National Guard had in Iraq, they came home to guess what? PTSD, suicide, drug and alcoholism, divorce, bankruptcy, and general feelings of failure. And, you know, for heaven's sake, why was this happening? But they did develop a system to where they started helping each other and other veterans and also other civilians to help cope with these feelings of depression and suicide and PTSD. And they went on to you know, to have a lot of success. A lot of people have told me that they would like to see this this book, Task Force IED, made into a movie. And I personally feel, just from all the reviews of what people have been telling me, that this book has the capability of being a '1 bestseller. And you can help me as well as Denise. And it's all in the marketing, as you know. You know, if you like this book, and I think you will, tell other people. It's available on Amazon and also Barnes and Noble and Walmart. But let people know, and I would like nothing better than to see this book go all the way to the top, and I think it will. So come to the book signing in Monroe, Iowa on Saturday, October 15th at 10 a.m. if you can. I'll be glad to sign the book for you, and I'll read a little excerpt from it and answer questions. A lot of people have ideas in their head that they would like to write a book too, and you can. What you have to do is get busy and do it, and start in and get up every day and put your keypad in front of you and a pen in your hand and go for it. And so with that, I'll turn it back to you, Denise. Thank you very much for having me on this morning. Do you have any other questions for me?
Well, I just also want to do another quick promo for people in the area too. Curt is going to be at the Art Center for a brown bag lunch on Veterans Day. Do I have that right, Curt? Do I remember that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Art Center in Mount Pleasant. Yeah, yes, you bet.
And so, you know, if you haven't made it out to anything yet, that'd be another great place to go to have him do a little reading of it and sign it and just gather together and talk, because this book, I don't know. I agree, Curt. It's going to go to the top as far as writing, but I really could see this as a movie. And as I go out to California and I have some filmmaking friends, I'm just gonna put some little feelers
Okay.
out there. So we'll see what, because they've got all the connections. I know people who know people. So we're gonna put that little idea out there, and everyone say a little prayer, and maybe we can get this big dream of Curt's out there too. So
Yeah, also, if you know of a place that would like for me to visit and do a book signing, be sure and let me know. You can contact me through Denise, or my email is my name, Curt Swarm. Curt is C-U-R-T, Swarm, like a swarm of bees, S-W-A-R-M, Curt Swarm at yahoo.com. Let me know, and I would be glad to do a book signing in your hometown, or wherever you think might be a good place to have one.
yes,
And this
I
book has go,
I was gonna say this
this
book
book
just
has
has, it needs to be, it just needs to be read by as many people as possible. It's so gripping, but then at the end it's so hopeful, that there's some lessons that can be learned, and there are some ways to deal that you'll see the veterans help solve their own problems. And I think it's our job as civilians to help them do that. So it's a great book. So thanks for coming on, Curt.
Thank you, Denise, for having me, and have a good, safe trip going to Australia, and
I will.
come back safe.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Denise.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.